How's everyone doing? My name's Whalen Conor Davis. If you don't know this by now, I go by Conor. And for my management plan, I put together something that's really personal and close to me. I put together a management plan for the Arizona State University baseball program with my little experience in nonprofit and a lot of experience in the baseball world. I thought it was pretty cool. I got to put this together for something that holds a special place in my heart. Looking at our executive summary, we want to incorporate and bring to light the fact of clarity and a sense of urgency to do better in a more timely manner to continue growing. This simply means that clarity between everyone within the organization is brought up and everyone has a sense of urgency to do stuff, because when everyone has a sense of urgency to continue to move forward, that's when we'll move forward as a whole. Something else that's going to be a key in my management plan is real-time feedback. Real-time feedback is not only good for players learning what they did wrong or what they did right at a certain time, but also for coaches to learn and experience the differences in where players are at and how they can change these things for these players. A big focus in my management plan also goes back to communication strategies. And communication is something that will be talked a lot within this plan. And from top to bottom, the type of culture that we have here is that, not the type of culture, but the way that our leadership is run is very top to bottom as of right now, and that's something that we're going to work on. So communication between players and coaches and managers and staff members is something that I really want to hone in on changing. When looking at our philosophy, trusting one another and truthful feedback are two key pillars of this philosophy. Trusting one another not only to do the right thing, but also that they're giving you the right feedback. And the right feedback goes back to trusting who's giving you that feedback, because you either have to believe them or you don't. Hard work and perseverance are two core values that I really want to focus on, because not only in the baseball world, but in any day life, hard work and perseverance to do the right thing, continue to grow and get better and be successful will always make people and organizations become better. Our leadership, like I said, is in our head coach, and he's always bringing us in the right direction. I fully believe that. People within the organization fully believe that. But overall, with hard work, perseverance, trusting one another, truthful feedback, leading our leadership and our coach, when all of these things start working together smoothly is when we get positive emotions, and positive emotion is what brings chemistry. And chemistry wins baseball games. Chemistry wins life. Chemistry between people creates more chemistry with other people. So just a little overview of the organization right now. Started in 1959, and we've won 5 national championships since then. And this past year, the number 1 overall pick in the MLB draft actually came from Arizona State, which I thought was very interesting and very cool. But the main goal and the main vision of this organization is to win games and win championships. And not only are we talking about in the baseball field, but winning in life. And that also includes influencing those people around us. We never know who comes to our games. We never know who's watching from Maine or from Georgia or from Oregon. But we always have the opportunity to influence others, and that's something that is very key to our organization. The leadership team consists of our head coach, our director of operations, our athletic trainer, and our academic coach. So where we're at right now as an organization in the life cycle is in the growth stage. And it's not only growing because of everyone's becoming more successful, and we're becoming more and more successful baseball worldwide, but we're getting more attention and more acceptance from people around. So even though we're growing within our organization, the growth cycle focuses a lot on the attention and the acceptance we're getting from the public and the people who believe in us. Our main stakeholder is the athletic department, because they handle all donor funds, everything, and they're the ones that choose where and when this money and the funds get distributed to. And if you look at competitive advantages that Arizona State brings to the table, our coaching staff has been here for more than 5 years. The environment in Arizona is beautiful every single day. No matter the heat or no matter a little bit chilly, it's beautiful every single day. And the facilities are top of the line and some of the best in the NCAA. The vision of our organization, of the baseball organization, is to win as many games. And not only to win a lot of games, but to win championships. And this includes championships in the conference, the Pac-12, and also the NCAA championship, which is basically the World Series of college. But also selfishly, outside of team goals, there are the goal to get as many kids drafted as possible. If you look at the past 10 years, there's been over 50 kids drafted out of Arizona State. Two of the keys to becoming and doing and winning in all aspects, whether it's games, championships, getting people drafted, are commitment and culture. Commitment to one another and the culture that we already have here, and that's something that we'll get into in a second. But also stakeholder support is something that is a vision in my plan and a strategy of mine. If we can get more stakeholder involvement and more people aware of being able to contribute to our organization, we'll be able to get more support, which makes us better as an organization. The culture that's already here is obviously to win and to do extra work. One thing I want to change about this culture is to take this extra work in the culture of winning to helping one another do those things, helping one another do those things so that when we are successful, it's because we helped one another do that. The culture within my plan that's going to change is the success and friendship of things. Success and these friendships are built with the culture that I'm trying to get this organization to get to. When we can push each other, when we can look at each other back and forth, left and right, and we know that there's something or there's somebody that can do something for us that will help the betterment of the organization, that's when these friendships are going to start forming. And friendships creates chemistry, and chemistry overall is the most and the best recipe for success in any part of life. And to improve this culture that we already have, there needs to be no doubt in one another, like I said right here on the screen, and also work on communication, whether it's having people or avenues to help us or finding ways that we can communicate better, coach to player, player to coach. There are negatives, though, and when people come in, obviously they were very successful, and that's why they're at Arizona State, but that's a negative because it's the team's way or the highway here at Arizona State, and that is a negative that the culture has to change because we need to incorporate more players' individual skills in order to be more successful as a team. But like I went back to saying, chemistry equals culture, and culture equals chemistry. They go hand in hand with each other. If we can create a culture that everyone wants to win and help each other, it'll create chemistry that overall, the chemistry with one another, if we can fit together like pieces on a puzzle, it puts everything into perspective of what we need to do and who needs to do what to be successful. To improve the structure and the hierarchy, we need to have more weekly meetings to voice the opinions. I think that's somewhere where the organization struggles right now, and if we could create weekly meetings where players are able to come in, captains are able to come in and voice what they thought could be changed to help the organization, it would do us a lot better because coaches half the time make plans without even knowing what the players want or what the players need. But at the end of the day, our head coach does have the final decision in every decision that we make. To improve this departmentalization, we do need to create an accountability system, which not only do you want to become better for your teammates, but also they can hold you accountable to what your goals are to make the whole team better as a whole. The formalization structure that we have right now is word of mouth, and that's something that needs to be changed. Most of the rules and most of the guidelines aren't even put anywhere in the organization. There's no paperwork, there's no locker room written rules, and that's something how we're going to change that is by putting up more written things that more people can see and refer back to when there's questions. When we look at the 4 people who contribute to this performance management and the plan that I put together, hitting coach Michael Early, his job is to make hitters better. You look at his swing angles and stuff that he can do, he also has another job of making sure people are doing extra reps. You can look in the counting method for the swing angles and the judging method for the extra reps, but both of these things are 2 things that are can be seen through a supervisor, and if he's doing his job of making sure that swing angles are changing, then that means players are getting better, which makes the team better. We look at our head coach or our assistant head coach and recruiting coordinator, Ben Greenspan. His job is to get the best players. His 2 methods are truthfulness and reporting. If he can give truthful reports and truthful representation of these reports to the players and the staff and everyone involved, then everybody continues to grow and everyone continues to see where they need to get better. An antecedent, if we're looking at our team manager, Ian Cohen, an antecedent of what he could do to make his 2 jobs better or do better at his 2 jobs that we're talking about here, which are setting up the field every day and making sure BPs run smoothly. If he puts his stuff in the same place every day in the same area, the next day he knows where to go, where to get it, and how to set it up. Every job that a manager does, though, is very crucial to the success of the team. And lastly, strengths coach job is to make players as healthy and as strong as they possibly can be. You can use the counting method. We can use the counting method to implement the health checks and the pushing weights, because we'll be physically be able to see where players are health-wise and where they're at moving the weights every single week, going up and down the scale. Some strategies that are to make our team more successful and the organization more successful is to motivate through accountability. This simply means that we're going to be motivated to look at one another and be able to call each other out, be able to say, you need to do this to do that, you need to do this to get better at that. And then showing people the right way of doing stuff when you're reinforcing things. Not reinforcing things the wrong way, but reinforcing them in a way that is easy for everyone to understand. And then when we look at the risk assessment, there's two things. Practice is for the coaches. Simply this goes into the fact that players are trying to do stuff their way, and in the end, games are for the players. That's where they're let go to do whatever they need to do to play and be successful. But practice is for the coaches, and we can change that by making sure that we implement through communication. We can implement the goals and the successes of that practice that we want to see before practice even happens. And this all goes back to open communication and taking responsibility for your actions. In conclusion, this plan that I've put together to help the organization be successful and get to the top that we want to be at, it goes back to trusting one another, accountability, open communication, and consistent preparation. All these things are key pillars of the organization in my plan that need to be made clear to the whole organization, whether it's communicating from one player to another who communicates to a coach, who then communicates back to the players, or whether it's Johnny and Tim holding each other accountable for what they said their goals were for the week and not getting them, then that's what it's going to take. But preparation overall takes the head, and when you prepare, you're always successful. And preparing brings more success for the organization in all aspects. Thank you very much.